everyone, and welcome to another edition of my Client Unstoppable interview series. And I've got a lovely, lovely friend of mine, Nicola. Say hello, Nicola, to everyone.
Hello.
Now, for transparency reasons, I'm just going to say that Nicola and I have known each other for a very, 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 very long time. Too many years to even mention, right? So when I created my group program, Your Breakthrough from Stress and Lack of Confidence to Inner Peace and Clarity, I wanted to create the pilot version of it. So I was thinking, who can I ask to come and guinea pig it for me? Now, at the time, Nick, you were going through a lot of bits and bobs anyway, wasn't you? So I sort of reached out to you and said, how do you fancy coming? And you very kindly said yes, didn't you?
I did. Under pressure, but I did.
It was, she's one of my bestest friends. You know, all joking aside, I did pressurise her, but all for the good, because I knew the program that I created, Nicola was one of my perfect clients, really. And in some respects, I'd written it for her as I was thinking about people who would benefit from this, because obviously we were speaking before and I knew what she was going through. And I even asked you for research, if I recall, as well.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that I had the right type of people on it as well, so that we could get the right results that we needed. So, Nick, would you like to just introduce yourself then, a little bit about what you do and your life very quickly?
Yes, of course. So from a work perspective, I've been in the corporate world, almost 40 years now. So a long time. Couple of older kids now, and so I think that at the point where you were speaking with me, work was pretty intense. But then I think one of the things, sort of looking back, is that over all of those years, you do get used to working under pressure in that sort of environment. And it's not very often that there isn't I won't say stressful, because it's not always, but a pressured sort of environment. So, and as I'm getting older and things like perimenopause and menopause came along, so that changed a lot of stuff. My marriage had broken down anyway, so that then put other pressures in. So I think the point that you roped me into this was actually quite timely, because there were lots of things going on, lots of anxieties that I don't suppose I really recognised at the time. But yeah, so it was quite timely that it all came along when it did. Thank you.
Thank you. So Nicola's been in the program from day one. So he was all part of the recording of the content. And that finished quite a long time ago now. And we've just been doing live weekly shows, shall we say, so training program. So if you was to say some of the key things that you were suffering from, it would be stress, lack of confidence, overwhelm, anything else?
Yeah, all of the above, really. So imposter syndrome kicked in big time with work, self-sabotage, just sort of the anxieties, but not seeing them for what they were, sort of thinking, trying to brush them off. Sort of think, oh, this is all just part and parcel of corporate life. This is how it works, when actually it's not. But that's what you do.
Most people do, don't they? But it's not how it should be.
You just sort of try and push through it and think, oh, it'll be okay in a month, or it'll be okay in a few weeks, and then a few weeks down the line, and it's not really changed and improved. So it was a bit of a cycle, I think.
And before you started the group program, did you ever really take time out for yourself?
Well, I like to exercise, so things like that. So that sort of time I did. But other than that, no, because you get caught up with work, if there's extra stuff to do, so you're working longer hours, family life. So you always put yourself at the bottom. Often what happens anyway, I guess. So so no, not really.
And this is what happens, isn't it? Especially as we get older, when we don't take that time out for ourselves because we're too busy being busy, aka not respecting ourselves, then we get more of those psychological and physical conditions. Like you mentioned, really noticing like the self-sabotage and all that, more heavily more anxiety, more stress, more overwhelm, because you're not taking that time out for yourself, which is what the whole group program I've written it about, really, isn't it? Is to understand how the mind works, understand what happens if we don't take that time out for ourselves. And it's got lots of tools and techniques in there as well to help you get through it. So how did you find the content in the group program? What did you like about it?
Well, first of all, I must say I was a bit, this isn't something I've ever done before. So all of this is completely alien to me, as you well know. So in the beginning, it was a bit overwhelming, just because a lot of it I didn't understand. So I didn't understand the way the mind works. So I didn't understand sort of all the lies you tell yourself. I didn't all of these things that are obviously covered in the course. So I didn't really get that. So first of all, didn't really know how to approach it, to be fair, which is, I mean, coming to sort of the weekly sessions is good because you get to talk through things. So it was sort of an ease into it, which I liked. Looking back sort of now on the content, so I like I like just the fact that I can see myself in a lot of stuff. So when you're saying about recognizing triggers and things like that and different ways of dealing with things, and there's often most weeks when we go through, there's things that I recognize and I can really relate to, and often you'll say put your hand up if this resonates with you, and I'm like, yes, definitely. So but yeah, I just, there's a lot of stuff in there, and it's good. It's good to be able to dip in and out of things like the hypnosis. I've never done hypnosis before this at all, and my thought of it was that you were laying on a couch and there was someone standing over you with a watch, tick-tocking, and
look into my eyes, look into my eyes.
Exactly. When you end up eating an onion and clucking like a chicken or something, but no. So all of that side and sort of the relaxation side of it, I found quite interesting. I enjoy them. I do enjoy them now. I sort of try to do them more than not. So yeah.
Because what I wanted to create, not just another training program when there's just loads of videos to watch, which of course there are loads of videos to watch, but I wanted it to be actual making fundamental, deep-rooted changes. So I really wanted you all to be aware of how the subconscious mind works, and how we store our feelings and emotions in our whole body. And by doing the hypnosis and the multiple audios in there, you are actually making actual changes. So you're not just doing it at a conscious level, you're doing it at a completely subconscious level as well. And that's where the changes need to take place. But I also put in there a lot of workbooks, didn't I, where I try to get you to really think.
Some of those ones at the beginning about the one that springs to mind is about sort of the key words as to how you see yourself now. All of those. So it just makes you sort of sit back for a couple of minutes and sort of think, right, okay, well, a lot of these words, because there was sort of a mixture, I think, of sort of words with more negative connotations and then others with more positive. And I was definitely on the negative side, definitely. And then as you look through it over the weeks, it's sort of less and less and more going to sort of a more positive angle. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of things that make you think about yourself and how you are and how you think.
And how did you find being in that group environment? Because sometimes people feel a little bit, oh, I don't know if I want to speak out, or I don't know if I want to be around other people. But what would you say would be the key benefits of doing the course with, showing up to the training with like-minded people?
Well, exactly that. You're showing up with like-minded people. So from the
Mm,
start, you know that you're on the same page. And
mm,
even though, like through the group, we know that people are there for different reasons, we've all got that common sort of thing that we're working towards. But I was a bit, I wasn't sure in the beginning because I try and be very private. I don't like releasing lots of information about myself. And then you find that actually over the course of time, as you get to know people,
mm,
um, you open up a little bit more, and then the more that you open up, then you sort of bounce off each other. So someone will have
mm,
an issue in a completely different context, completely removed from anything that you might encounter, but suddenly you think, oh, I know that feeling, or oh
mm.
yeah, I completely get that. So I find it really helpful, and they're really nice people as well
They
in the
are,
group.
aren't they? They're lovely.
Yeah, really nice, and I like hearing about when people have had breakthroughs and they've had a really
Mm,
good win, and it's just nice. It's just nice
yeah.
people, and you're all sort of pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, you're right. And it's such a mixed bag as well, isn't it? Because we've
Yeah,
got men, we've
yeah,
got women, but we've got older people, younger people. So
yeah,
it's not a group of old middle-aged women like us, is it? It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's a variety of different types of people in it, which is really lovely. And you're right. Everyone's going out in their world and having whatever issues they're having, but actually fundamentally it'll all be the same, mightn't it? It might be, well,
yeah,
oh, what happened today then, Nick? Well, when I was at work, I was just overthinking, and then I was doing it. My mind just wouldn't stop, and everyone's going, yeah, that's what it was like for me. And then we'll go, okay, let's have a look at that then, and you know, and then everyone's learning from it.
mm,
And
yeah,
we've got the Facebook group and we've got the WhatsApp group, and I do encourage you all, don't I, to share any wins that have gone
mm,
on, and everyone goes back and goes, oh, well done, that's amazing,
yeah, yeah,
and someone will say something in one of the sessions and go, oh, I thought about what you said. So it's not always coming from me, it's coming from you guys as well, isn't it? A
yeah,
nugget, a beautiful nugget. And
yeah,
people are going, oh, yeah, that's a good point. And I thought about that all week, and
mm,
that's what you get in the group environment, isn't it? Of that
yeah, definitely,
sort of family feel, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, very much so. And I think it's sort of a positivity as well. So
Mm,
it's sort of like you say, you're flipping things. So if somebody's had an experience in the week and it's not been great, then it's trying to flip it to look at the positive side of it, and
mm,
then we can all sort of tune into that as well. And
mm,
um, I don't know, it's just nice having people there that understands the fundamentals of what it is you're trying to do,
mm.
and give you the support as well in that group environment. I really like it. I do. It's
Oh, thanks, darling. I love having you there because it's always that from a trainer perspective. When you ask someone has anyone got anything to say? And you just look at the screen and everyone's like, and I'm like, and Nicola looks around and then she goes, all right then, I'll go. But once you start, then they do get going, don't they? But I sit there and think, please, Nick, please.
yeah, but I don't want to just be the one doing all the talking. So I'll just,
Yeah,
sometimes I'll try and sort of hold back a
good.
bit. But yeah,
Yeah. And I did, Nicola said at the beginning about sometimes when she first got into the training bit, it was a little bit overwhelming. And that, I didn't mean to do that because it's all about people being stress free and not overwhelmed. But the overwhelm really was just the fact that I did put a lot of content in there. And when I created this program, the intention always was it was a 12-week program. Now it kind of is, but because there's a lot and it takes a while, because life gets in the way as well, doesn't it, with
yeah,
getting through the program. That's why I've kind of opened it up to say, look, technically, yes, it's a 12-week program. If you want to do it in 12 weeks, you can, but you can stay in the program for 6 months because I want you to have time to absorb it and to peel away a few onions, because if you feel like you've literally got 3 months in there, that does make it overwhelming, doesn't it? So would you say, like, go on, what would you say?
I don't think the overwhelm was just that. I think it was more so that this was all completely new to me. The whole concept was completely new to me. So I think it was more that, because there's a lot of content in there. You've put loads and loads of stuff in, which is brilliant. Now I'm more familiar with it. But I think because at the time I did sort of think, okay, I'll just start at the beginning and I'll work my way through. And thankfully, I've been to the weekly sessions. So although I forgot a lot of what went on in those weekly sessions, and I would absolutely deny being there, and there I am on the screen. But so yeah, most of it was just the newness of it all to me.
Yeah,
So rather than sort of overload of content, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there, and it's good to just dip in and out once you've been through it all.
And then go back and do it again, isn't it? That's what you're doing now, isn't it? You're going, right, what do I need now? Okay, I feel like I need a tool that's going to help me get over such and such, and you kind of know what's in there now. What would you say would be one of your favourite tools in there?
So I think one of my favourite tools is I use attitude to gratitude.
Oh yeah, the audio.
Yeah, I use that audio a lot. Things like the Razorul, I use that quite a bit, and what's it called, Havening.
Havening, yeah.
So that one, and breathing. So and obviously sort of breathing I was aware of I should be doing before, but now I'm more conscious of doing it. And the Havening and the Razorul were completely new to me. So when I'm in those situations, they're things that probably I call on more than other things.
Yeah, because what you get a lot of the time with other training programs, you're just consciously learning, which is great, but we have to connect the mind and the body together. So this is why I wanted to give you what we call somatic tools, which are techniques that you can use that calm the mind, calm the body, and you can get that connection. And there's quite a lot in there. And you referenced Havening, which is a brilliant one, isn't it? Of calming your mind, calming your body, and then incorporating different breathing techniques. So that's what I wanted to create, because it isn't just about consciously learning, which we do need to do, because we need to understand how the mind works, and we need to understand how, for example, if we're talking to ourselves in a negative way, we need to understand that has an impact, and that impacts our whole body, our subconscious mind, and that sends messages to our body. So it's about understanding that, and about the power of your imagination, etc., etc., and also about fears, isn't it? So we need to understand it consciously, but we also need to have tools to help us connect the mind and body together. So that's why there's a lot of that in there as well. And as we mentioned, there's the hypnosis, which is actually doing subconscious changes. And as you refer to there, like the attitude to gratitude audio, there's other audios in there that you can listen to, and they're just really lovely. And that's embedding new powerful beliefs as well, isn't it? But the reason you love the attitude to gratitude one, because you started doing that in the morning, didn't you, to make you feel better before you got out of bed?
Yeah. Well, sometimes if I'm sort of going out really early in the morning, I'll do it at the end of the day. But again, even sort of leading up to before I actually listened to that and we were discussing it, I was thinking it's really difficult sometimes when you're in sort of an anxious state to think about the things that you're grateful for, and to show that gratitude for. And I was thinking of like all these big things, like, oh, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my car, and actually it's not those things that actually make it more meaningful. It's sort of those small things. And I try and think in the day of like I had a laugh the other day with a lady in one of the shops, and she trod on one of these children's piano things and it made her jump. So she jumped, which made me jump, and then we just looked and we laughed. And it's things like that I'm sort of grateful for, those little things, unexpected. So I try and remember those sort of things during the day.
Oh, I
So
like
for the
that.
end of the day, I can think, right, in addition to being thankful for all those big things and my family and everything, it's those small things as well that make a difference. And I wouldn't have thought about that before.
No. And did you do a thing about your bed every day?
Oh, my bed, I love my bed.
Yeah, did you? Oh, thank you, bed. I love.
So when I get into, you're out in me now.
Sorry.
So when I go to bed, I obviously, like most people, I'm just absolutely exhausted. Anyway, I go to bed and then I tell my bed that I love it. So, I love your bed. I love my bed very much. Thank you for being comfortable.
So that's like the gratitude, isn't it? And it,
Oh,
like
exactly.
when we wake up in the morning, it's like, thank you for
Yeah,
waking me up this morning.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
too caught up in the world of just taking things for granted and not being present and not enjoying the simple things in life. And they are really important, like you said.
yeah, yeah.
But equally, you wouldn't have thought about it before you started doing it, would you? As you said as well. So,
No, no, I wouldn't have done. No, no.
and watching you shine has been amazing as well. Like seeing the change in you, and when I put you on the spot, maybe, and you sort of stood up and be counted or whatever, but you'll go, maybe I feel like I've not done as what I should. Well, and then we'll challenge you, won't we? And we'll go, well, why didn't you do it then? Oh, and then we'll, oh, okay, so it's that then, and then
Yeah,
you'll sit up again, aren't you? You're back on.
yeah,
But
yeah.
once you start on the journey, it's almost difficult to get off it, isn't it? Because the more you learn, the more you kind of want to learn, and
Yeah, but this is the thing to it as well, is that I think I'm much more aware, much more conscious of what I'm saying and what I'm doing now.
mm,
Just generally, not even just in a work context, but it has made me think more about things. Just not in a sort of like the reason of life and things like that, but just more in your day to day. I just think more clearly about the way I am and sort of
mm.
presenting myself. And I've even,
You're out in yourself now. I didn't say a word.
So if I do get up in the morning and I don't feel great for whatever reason, it could be any reason at all, and I not feel great. So if I'm travelling to the station, I make myself smile on the
Oh,
way to the station. So I start the music going, so I'll be singing along, and even though I feel like rubbish, I'll make myself smile, like a big beaming smile. So I apologise if ever you're travelling towards me in the car, because it just looks like a mad woman. But just to try and push that forward, just to
oh,
try
wow,
and
that's
give me and
amazing.
it does help. It does help,
Yeah.
mostly because you sort of think, oh, you're Wally, sort of thing. But
They
and I
probably
wouldn't have
don't
done
know.
that before.
And that's good because when you see someone smile, you naturally want to smile back. And that's what brings happiness into the world, isn't it? When people just smile to each other, especially like when you're on the drudge of the train and,
Yeah,
commuting. Um,
yeah,
everyone's in their own little world, aren't they? And just
yeah,
even just to have a conversation with someone sometimes nice, isn't it? Just someone that you didn't expect to have a conversation with,
yeah,
makes a
yeah,
difference.
yeah.
Um, so on that as well, do you think that doing this work has had a ripple effect in people, the people around you? That have they noticed a difference, or have you noticed how maybe you're different with them?
I think that, yeah, I think there has been a difference. I think in terms of work, um, I I don't know, perhaps I'm more conscious about the way that before I might have had a more negative approach in some situations, whereas
Mm,
now I try to be not. If
mm,
I'm feeling like that, then I'll sort of leave the situation and come back to it. So I think I think I've made some sort of progress, which has been sort of picked up on. I think little bits and pieces. Things are working smoother, certain aspects in work. And then at home, I think it's just more peaceful, it's just more relaxed.
mm,
Whereas things might have made me more frustrated
mm.
before, now they're not. and a lot of it is just let it brush over me, just
No.
go. Not that there's lots of sort of negative things here, but yeah, so I think there has been a positive impact all round, definitely. And I think as soon as you feel better in yourself, it naturally just sort of radiates out and makes it better for everyone, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And when we start doing work on ourselves, it does have that natural ripple effect anyway, because we're not reacting in the same way that we might have done, because a lot of that's learned behaviour. If you're in a situation with a certain person maybe that just always like roils you, sometimes they don't even have to do anything. As soon as they open their mouth, it doesn't even matter what they say. Straight away, you're like, ugh. But when you're acknowledging that, and you can go, oh, I can feel myself, I'm going to throw a tool in, and I'm going to maybe do some breathing or something like that. Or, if I feel myself getting a bit stressed, I'm going to acknowledge that, and then I'm going to take myself out of the office, say, for example, and go for a quick walk, or go to the toilet and go and do some having or something, just to calm yourself down, isn't it? And I know you've done similar things to that, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. Just take yourself away from the stressful situation, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, and it just resets.
Reset, yeah. Change the state and just reset. Do a bit of breathing, do another tool, and just get back in that present moment. And I think this is what you was alluding to earlier when you were saying, like, sometimes you can come to something with a different thought pattern around it, or a different way of thinking about something, because you've taken that time out to get out of your head, because that's crucial, isn't it? And just get out of your head, calm it down, and then when you can start coming into your body and being a bit more present, that's when you can start answering those questions, because you've got a clearer mind.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And it I think it sort of benefits all round, really. If you can, as you say, when you're in your head, you end up going down a rabbit hole, and it just mentally it just takes you so far away from where you need to be, because you need to have a bit more clarity in order to deal with whatever the issue is. But if you just spirals and spirals, and I found that, like you said, sometimes I've actually taken myself out of the office, and I've gone outside, and just for 5-10 minutes, just gone for a walk around, and then come back in and thought, right, okay, we can do this now. So although there's sort of a conscious way of approaching it, also is just removing yourself, just to take that anxiety away.
So that's kind of very much of like, how has this impacted you? Well, it makes you think about things differently, makes you react to things differently. You've got more tools and techniques that you didn't know existed before. And there'll be others in there that you haven't got to use that much, because there's a lot in there, and it's about finding the ones that you like, isn't it? And going, well, that one doesn't really resonate, but I really like this one. Or sometimes we just forget. I mean, sometimes I wrote the stuff, I can't even remember what's in there. And I go, oh, I think I might have done something about that. Let me see. Because it's like, I'm accepted, but, and that's the thing. There is a lot in there. You take some of it, you leave some of it. But fundamentally, there's a lot of value in there, really, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. There's a lot in there. And I think that if, even if just part of it's used, it just helps reset some things, I think. Yeah.
And what I wanted to achieve with this group program, really, I mean, if someone's like, sort of, if you think of these as like gauges, if someone's like over here and they've got so much going on in their life that their life is, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, the group program might not get you from here to here, but it will certainly get you on that journey. And that's what happens when I get people on this journey. Then they can come and work with me on a one-to-one basis, and then we can do a real bespoke, deep dive, personal approach, just to get you along the way. But you don't have to. You haven't had that. You've just had the group program, and you've had fundamental results from it, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm completely cured of all anxiety in my life, and I deal with everything in the way that I should, because that's not true. But I think what it's done is it's given me tools to deal with situations better than I was dealing with them before, and also made me just more aware of what I'm doing, whether that's the words I'm speaking or the sort of the approach I'm taking. So it's yeah, it's all heading the right way, definitely.
Opens your eyes, doesn't it? And
yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot of that stuff, I must say, it was mind blowing. Some of the things, some of the sessions that we've spoken about, and I sort of think, wow, that's so true, but I've never thought about it before.
and it's not rocket science, is it? A lot of it, it's
No,
quite simple. I mean, we're
yeah,
not. I'm not telling you about, how to become a brain surgeon. It's all
yeah,
very basic things, but
yeah,
if you don't know it, you don't know it.
mm, yeah,
And
very much
and
so.
and also sometimes we know it, but we don't do it.
Yeah,
And they are completely different things as well. And then therapists like myself are quite guilty of that. I mean, I have done a lot of work on myself and continue to do a lot of work on myself to keep improving. But sometimes we just get stuck in a rut, don't we? And it's like,
yeah,
well, I've done all this training now. I don't need to learn anymore. Well, that's rubbish, because the more you do, you start then coming up against new fears and new worries, because you're peeling away that onion. So the more you push yourself and take yourself out of that comfort zone, the more you want to learn. And that's
mm,
where I am now. And it probably, I think when I started on my journey, I think you was like, what the hell's happened to me, wasn't it? It was like, she's gone on this journey, and it's like, what's she talking
well,
about?
so far removed from you being in the corporate world, so
Yeah,
two like-minded people on a similar path, and then suddenly you veered off.
yeah.
Wow.
And dragged you with me.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Thanks.
yeah, but what an amazing journey,
Yeah, yeah,
and it is, once you kind of get on it, if you really believe in it and you really want to make changes in your life, once you start, you're going to want to keep digging, and then you start listening to a different podcast or something on YouTube and this and that, and you're just absorbed in it then, aren't you? And then you're on that journey.
yeah. Yeah, I've already started looking at other bits and pieces as well. Just nothing intense, but just sort of related subjects and things. And
Mm,
everything comes back to the same way of thinking, the same
mm,
as what you've got in the portal.
mm.
Different people saying it in different ways.
Different
So
ways, yeah,
yeah,
exactly
but
right.
it's definitely piqued my interest. Definitely.
Mm. And I'm really proud of you, and I'm really grateful that
Oh,
you
thank you.
you
Well,
you agreed.
likewise,
Mm.
definitely.
Oh,
Look how
bless
far
you.
you've come with it. Yeah.
So, if you had to say in one word how you found the program, what do you think that word would be?
Um, Inspirational.
Ooh, nice.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what would you say to someone then who maybe even who hasn't, like yourself, even considered doing anything like this, but they understand that they're stressed, they're overwhelmed, and they're not quite where they need to be in life? What would you say to them?
I would say have an open mind and just dip your toe into it. And I'd try to not give assurance. It's not my place to do that, but just to um, explain I was in exactly the same position.
Mm,
Um, Fairly not skeptical, but it was so far off my radar. So I think, yeah, I would probably say just try it.
mm,
What have you got to lose? Nothing, because you're in a pretty poor place now.
mm,
So what have you got to lose? Just
mm.
try it and see how you fare. And you know
Yeah.
pretty quickly, I think, especially with all the portal and that, you know pretty quickly whether something resonates with you or not.
Mm,
Because as soon as you go through and something rings true for you, you immediately, oh, okay, and then you want to find out more.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's amazing.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, so anyone who feels stuck, even if you don't know what you're stuck in and you want to move forward and you want to start to become unstoppable, like Nicola is, then just reach out to me. you'll find around this video all the different ways that you can do that. And yeah, come and speak to me. Follow me on YouTube. Just start watching some of my interviews. I've got lots of client videos and testimonials on my YouTube channel, Millieside Therapy and Coaching. Just watch some of those and see the results that my clients are getting. And if it's something that you think, you know, you need to resonate with me, obviously. So if you feel comfortable hearing and seeing how I present myself, then please reach out and come and join us, whether it be in the group program, whether it be working with me on a one-to-one, or whether you want to do the hybrid of both, because they're all options. So anyway, Nicola, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and thank you very much as well. Thank you for forcing me into this.
You're so welcome. But thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time when I have my next guest. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.